So, do you see more and more? Gosh, I hate to say the word legislation, but more and more legislation around coming around where uh, messaging platforms that have a retention policy versus communication platforms that don't have that intentionally have a non-retention policy, uh, starting to become like you were talking about the SEC starting to find companies.
Yes.
Do you see other industries where this is just going to become the standard of like, well, you just can't do this anymore?
Well, let me start in the States first, and then I'll pick up the UK and France as examples, and the European Union in totality. Um, so in the US, we've got some logjam. The Congress, shockingly, has drafted legislation at different times. It has made it different segments of the way through the process, but to my knowledge, it's not anywhere close to being done. So in the United States, we're going to live with this industry regulation, state regulation, lack of federal regulation, and this is the condition that we're in for the foreseeable future. In the UK and France, it's really different. They have like the UK has passed legislation that kind of bans these secret messengers, and at the same time, they can't quite get the courage to enforce it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they've got themselves where they've passed legislation, but I don't really see any evidence that they're going to want to enforce it. They're bordering on like over surveillance. In other words, kind of skipping the warrant process as we know it and maybe over surveilling. So that's the UK, and then the France has a similar type circumstances. I don't recall if that legislation actually passed, but it was on the precipice. And then you have similar legislation in the EU, and in those markets, it's like, gosh, guys, we do want to protect. We do want to open this up so that we can look after the bad guys, but we can't overreact and just open mic it.
Yeah.
And give the EU the ability to insert some kind of malware on your phone that they can listen to your mic and not even have to go through a warrant for it. And I do believe that I think this is amongst the most important issues of the 21st century, is trying to carry forward human rights that have been hard earned